I'll show you how to install the Maxxfan Dome from Maxxair. Here's what you'll need for the project. A 155mm hole saw, some UPVC inserts. Keep an eye out on my channel, I'll be putting a video up of how to make those shortly. A file, a tube of OB1, a tape measure, a 3mm steel bit, a boatload of patience, an extra pair of hands, and while I've got your attention, subscribe to my channel below. I'm sure this video is going to be really helpful. You're probably wanting to install a vent like this in a van if you've clicked on the video, so subscribe to the channel, check it out. Let's crack on. I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you at the end. I placed the exhaust only vent at the back of the van on the driver's side to maximise airflow. By cracking open a front window, the airflow will pull through the van to the back where I'll be sleeping. Placing it here also means that I can easily reach the vent from my bed to operate it. First, I measured the gap between the roof rack rungs using plywood, which I cut to find the 108mm centre point. Then I marked the middle of a UPVC trim piece, aligned it with the centre line on the roof and transferred the mark to create a crosshair. Using a centre punch, I made an indentation at the crosshair. Before drilling, I placed a cardboard box on the inside of the roof to catch any metal debris. I drilled a pilot hole with a 3mm steel bit and prepared the hole saw, ensuring the pilot bit extended properly. The manual recommends using a 155mm hole saw and specifies pushing the cylinder up from inside the van through the ceiling panel and metal roof, locating in the vent itself. I already had a 152mm hole saw and used that. If you're doing this yourself, I'd recommend buying the 155mm hole saw to avoid complications. The 152mm hole saw was large enough for the vent to drop through the hole it cut, but too small for the cylinder and required some modifications to the wiring for everything to fit. Since the ceiling panel hole needed to match the cylinder's diameter for a tight fit, cutting both the roof and panel in one go would have left the panel hole too small, requiring messy manual widening. To avoid this, I attached the ceiling panel, dropped the hole saw back through the hole in the roof and let the drill bit mark the centre of the panel where I wanted to cut out. I drilled a 6mm hole through this centre and used a circle cutting jig on my palm router to cut a hole matching the cylinder's diameter. Since the cylinder is pushed up against the van's roof, I shaped it to match the roof's contours. With the hole cut, smoothed and sealed, I moved on to filling the valleys around the opening to create a flush surface for the vent. Before sticking them down, I dropped the vent into the hole and marked the positions with masking tape. Then I fixed the pieces in place with black OB1 and let it cure, ensuring the trim stayed secure when I installed the vent. While waiting for the OB1 to cure, I removed the dome and drilled 8 pilot holes into the base to make it easier for the self-tappers to go in later. Notice I've painted the base? I did this to maintain the stealthy look I'm going for. Once the OB1 had cured, I dropped the vent into the opening, aligned it so the controls were positioned where I wanted them, and used a steel punch to transfer the pilot hole locations onto the van roof. I then drilled them out with a 3mm bit. Before attaching the vent, I made a plywood insert to go between the roof and the ceiling panel. This insert acts as a spacer and, more importantly, gives the screws something solid to pull against, providing more support than just the thin metal roof when the vent is installed. With the prep work done, all that remained was to apply a bead of OB1 around the opening on the roof of the van, drop the vent in place and drive in the self-tappers. Unfortunately, my phone overheated at this point, but it's important to tighten the screws evenly to ensure a proper seal and prevent the vent from warping or creating gaps. Well, you made it so far into the video that the weather's certainly changed since the intro. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. It was a mammoth to edit. I must have had 4 or 5 hours of footage that I condensed down into that 6-minute or so video. Let me know how that works. Did I make the video too short? Did I trim it down too much, or was it quite clear what I was doing? Let me know in the comments below. Your feedback is always appreciated and I'll reply to all of them. If you haven't subscribed, then please do. There'll be more videos coming on the van conversion, and hopefully in the next couple of months or so I'll have a big announcement for my next big project. So stay tuned. Click on the bell icon if you haven't already, now that you have subscribed, so you get notified, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.